I am live here. Super excited to be here with you today. I'm not really sure how long I'm going to stay on because it is very busy here today. So I'm sitting at a table without power connection. So my computer at some point is going to die. But in the meantime, let's hang out and chat for a while. I was not here last week. So I wanted to show you last weekend. There was a Shakespeare play in Reading, and my friend Laura and I like to go to plays. And this was actually the first time that I had seen her since my birthday. So she gave me some gifts, and I wanted to share them with you. First, this leaf blanket, which is so cute. Oh, wait, by the way, look at my cool shirt. Thankful for vegans. Woo! Okay. I got myself some new vegan shirts I'm super excited about. So, hey, David D. Hey, Kyle, how's it going? David D says, Happy Thanksgiving. Cool looking shirt. Aw, and you're looking good too. Thank you. I appreciate that. Kyle, how's it going? So here is this giant leaf blanket. It's super soft and it's actually pretty warm for as thin as it is. So that's really cool. I love blankets. So very into soft blankets. Okay. And then look at this cute little bag. Just a girl who loves cows. And inside the bag, it's like the gift that keeps on giving. The first thing that I'm trying to pull out this this spoon that says drink tea, read books, be happy. Very cute. And this little bee, it's a pin, really cute. And look at the mug. I don't eat my homies. I love hot tea, and I have like a pretty decent sized mug collection going on at home. So I really appreciate this gift, and very excited about it. So thank you, Laura. I just wanted to share with you guys the things that I got, and super excited about that. So. Hello, yeah, but make sure that you please speak in English because none of us can understand what you are saying when you do not. And sorry about squeaky. And I'm not going to be pulling up a translator to try to, translate. Good Thanksgiving to you too. Well, if you're vegan. David D says, a girl who loves cows. Perfect. Yes, exactly. So yeah, Thanksgiving was obviously recently, and there are many of us that are kind of, I don't want to say orphans because obviously we do have family, but many of us are in Mount Shasta here with no family. Like my family is all on the other side of the country. I'm here by myself, so all that I have is any of the friends and soul family essentially that I'm making here. So on Thanksgiving Day, I just stayed home and I made this. I'll give you the actual recipe because it's delicious. This is a vegan stuffing recipe. Hey Dobro, how's it going? Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Here you go. So I made this vegan stuffing, and I also bought a textured veggie protein off of Amazon. So it would have like little, bits of turkey in it, and it was so good. I'm definitely gonna make that for the next holiday. But on Saturday, yesterday, they actually had a vegan potluck in Chico. There's a pretty decent sized vegan community down there. It's about 2 hours south. You pass through Reading, which is, most of you who have been, watching my videos and stuff, know that Reading's where the chess club, the main chess club is. There's a Reading chess club. There's actually a Chico chess club as well. And the Chico chess club is actually bigger because it's like a college town. but the Reading Chess Club has more like an older crowd, and they've been playing chess a lot longer. So usually when the two are together and going up against each other, the Reading Chess Club is actually the ones that come out triumphant. In fact, many of them go down for the Chico tournaments, and like Matt, one of the chess club president, I mean one of, he is the only chess club president. Matt was one of the winners 2 times ago, and then another Reading Chess Club member won the last time, and Matt didn't go. So otherwise, he would have definitely been up there in the running. And we're still trying to figure out when we can do the simul. There's a lot of things going on in both of our lives, both me and Matt. And as I've said before, I'm not going to schedule a simul where he has all of this pressure and a lot of money on the line when he's not ready. So I want to make sure that he can have as much time as he needs to prepare for that. But anyways, so Chico had a vegan Thanksgiving potluck that I went down to. And I don't have a crock pot, or I would have taken that stuffing recipe with me. I didn't want to show up with something that was cold. And it's over 2 hours away. So me and a few friends went down there. And yeah, it was a really nice time. The spread was pretty amazing. I took this cashew-based cheddar cheese dip and a veggie tray. And then I also took some desserts. I got some vegan baking chocolate chips and melted them. And I did chocolate covered pretzel, not pretzel rods. I did crumbled up the pretzels and made little clusters. And then I got these peanut butter cream sandwiches, and I dipped those in chocolate too, so it'd be like a chocolate peanut butter thing. And then I also got some potato chips and covered those in chocolate as well. My first exposure to that combination was actually at my sister's wedding reception. They had this cute little potato chip bar with a bunch of different potato chips. Obviously, that's why it was called that. And one of the things that they had was little baggies of chocolate covered Lay's potato chips. And the combination, it might sound really weird, but it is really dank. It's very good. So I did that. And I also bought some store-bought chocolate chip cookies and fudge stripe cookies because it was last minute. So I didn't want to bake a bunch of cookies and stuff like that. But everybody really loved what I brought. And I really loved what they brought, surprisingly. I'm kind of a picky eater. So the fact that they had stuff that was wow, this is really amazing. It was awesome. And I'm really looking forward to going back. They're talking about scheduling a Christmas potluck. So hopefully it is during the time when I'm in town and I can go. I'm planning on going to Southern California for Christmas to visit with some family friends and get away from the snow and just kind of have a little bit of a vacation. For a long time growing up, the whole concept of having a house in the north and then going south for the winter is definitely something that is a draw to me because I really don't like to be cold. I want to just be warm all the time but I don't want to live in Mount Shasta. That's the thing. So I want here to be my home base, but having a house somewhere in the south, not in Southern California, probably somewhere actually that's really nice. Not that it's not nice down there, but the society, the people, the liberalism, and I'm not saying left or right, liberal versus conservative, but I am a lot more comfortable in conservative areas to an extent. Obviously, how are you going to say that you're pro-life when you're constantly killing animals and eating them? So there are issues with the conservatives as well. But in general, I don't want to be around a lot of the degeneracy and the accepted behaviors that happen, in Southern California. That's what it's known for. I remember even in high school saying California is going to be the first land that falls into the ocean or something. And California will be the last place that I ever go. And it's kind of funny because it's this is what, like, if I actually died here at some point, it's like that literally was the last place that I ever went. So it'd kind of be like a funny thing. But anyways, let me check the live chat really quick, and then I'm going to talk about the Chico potluck. So David G says, oh wait, sorry, esoteric knowledge. Can you see through deception? Yes, and I think it does get easier over time. You know, I'm not saying that anybody out there is undeceivable. We all have, you know, blind spots. None of us are fully awake, so there are definitely areas that we can be deceived in. But I really think that discernment is important, and truth is kind of like, for instance, when I first started the awakening process, I saw a picture of flat Earth, and it there was just something inside that was like, wow, it just clicked. Like that makes so much more sense, and it was just like there was something inside of me at a core level that knew that it was true. Like I don't need to sit here and listen to 200 proofs. Like that's great that we have all this, these evidences, but it's like I don't need there was just something inside that resonated as truth. And there's a lot of other things that I've come across that also give me that same feeling. One of the things I want to talk about is the Christ being vegan. For me, it's obvious that the Christ would have to follow God's will, or he's a fraud. I don't care who you are, what miracles that you can do, I don't care about it. If you're not actually doing God's will and teaching others that, if you're not leading others to righteousness, then you're doing something wrong. So for me, that's at a fundamental level, I know that it's true. So there's two things, there are areas that not being fully awake, we can all fall under deceptions, but I think it does become easier over time, especially the more that you learn about the truth of our reality. Pretty much every truther will say that certain events that happened in September of 2001 were, staged. We see through this deception, and then further down the line, we come to find out that literally everything that we see on mainstream media, from your Manson cult leaders to serial killers to every single of these influential entities, none of them are real. None of them are real humans. They're all, not necessarily that someone typed out a script, but they're all a Hollywood production. Satan doesn't actually need two of his minions to have a script written out for them to follow. It's they're demons. They'll just play along with whatever demony skit they're trying to do. So that's also one of the reasons for the inversion. When you decide that you're not going to live according to God's will, you say you're not going to live life as what you're born as, you're going to choose the opposite direction, you are going directly against God's will, and there are inversion demons that will come in and they start to take control. The soul inside, that soul is saying, I'm not going to live as this sex anymore or whatever, and is giving more and more control over to this demon. And the more that soul, the original soul, basically listens to the demon and does what the demon influences it to say, allows it to take control, the more control that demon has over the vessel, right? The less the original soul does. So some of these souls are very far gone, and the original soul, I don't want to say that they're soulless, because no physical vessel with a pineal gland is soulless. We all have a soul inside, and now whether that's the original soul in control or demons that are in control and influencing the direction of that vehicle, that's a different story. And we all have demonic issues to varying degrees. Everybody struggles with different demons to different levels. Some of us have trouble with the gluttony demon, while others have no issue at all. They fasting for a week, that's perfectly fine. I have no mental issues about, no emotional, everything's good to go. Some people have, sexual issues. Some people are perfectly fine being celibate. Everybody has these different varying levels of demonic influence and possession and interaction, I guess. And flesh eaters, you are definitely not left out of this, because that desire for flesh, that flesh lust, bloodlust, is coming from a demon that's inside of you. So yeah, it's very interesting in some of the Essene. Well, I guess I'm not sure that the homilies are technically considered Essene texts, but the Clementine homilies I read before talk about how these demons can integrate themselves in with us, and we think that it's our own thoughts when it's not. And this kind of piles into not just flesh eating or sexual sins or any of these other type things, but also like just generally in your relationships. I just started reading this book this morning. I really like to read parenting books and like relationship books in general, because I think that it's important to keep growing, and I really want to not only be the best mom that I can be, but I also want to have really healthy relationships. And so I need to bring the best me to the table that I can, and understanding how better to interact with people and how the human body in general works. I'm trying to pull up what the name of this book is called. It's a free PDF online. I was actually looking for something else and stumbled upon this. So yeah, it's called Wired for Love: How Understanding Your Partner's Let me see. Your partner's brain and attachment style can help you diffuse conflict and build a secure relationship, by Stan Tatkin. But it's really cool because it goes into the actual like chemical processes and stuff that your brain goes through. So it's like when a conflict arises, you start, like a person, you'll notice their vocal tone, the look on their face, just the way that if they're talking really fast or slow, and it kind of explains how these different parts of the brain, one part will scan for danger, and your amygdala, I guess is what they're saying in the book, and then it alerts you that there is something going on. Are you heading out?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. See you next week. Yep. Take care.
Here you go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. You might want to plug your system in.
Yeah, maybe. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Nah.
I
got it right.
You did, yes. All right. So yeah, when your mind, senses danger, you get this, fight or flight or freeze type reaction, and trying to work through that, especially, if you value the relationship, you want to get through these situations in a loving way with the person. And it's just a really interesting book. I haven't really gotten that far into it yet, but they talk about like this relationship bubble kind of, and like I'm trying to say, this is not just for like any romantic relationship, but this is for other relationships too. Like I was reading this morning, and I have a friend that semi-recently had some conflict with something that I said was misunderstood, and this person thought that I was attacking them, which would never be my intent. Like I have told this person many times, like I value the friendship and I don't want to fight. Like I want to make it work, and at that point, it really didn't matter. And so I said what I said, and immediately it was taken as an attack. And this person just went off on me and started attacking me and saying extremely hurtful things. And I just kind of shut down. I'm like, I don't want to just fly off the handle and say something like out of anger or out of being hurt. Like I want to just like take a second, take a deep breath, and hold my breath, and then blow out any like negative energy and like keep control. Because I know when you're in the heat, when you're in, the heat of the moment in an angry situation, you're dealing with someone, especially, when you do care about them, things can get really like heated very quickly, and you can say things that you don't mean, and you can never take those things back. So my reaction in these situations when people are like having these conflicts, it's like, let me just, bite my tongue and respond in a mature manner. And so, I was just like, let's just take a deep breath and calm down and not do this. And my advice was not heeded. They just kept going and saying like some of the meanest things that I have ever heard in my life. Like, I expect these things from the inverted swine. Sorry, I shouldn't say swine because that's a mean thing to say about pigs. The inverted abominations to God that attack me, I expect mean things from them. But for someone that I have, really gone out of my way to try to make a connection with and help them with their emotional, mental, whatever issues that they have to help them heal. So that was really hurtful. And I didn't respond. Like, I let it go for a while. And then when I did respond, I didn't respond in a way that I'm proud of. I didn't blow up at them, but it was just like, looking back, I was just like, I should have just immediately stopped and said, listen, I don't understand. Like, the whole thing is a misunderstanding. I value the friendship. But I was reading this, my whole story, long story, to come back to this book. It basically is like, talking about different, relationship interactions. And it's saying, if either one of the people would have stopped in the situation and chosen to say something differently, to react differently, then the outcome could have been changed. I just got a text from a friend that said that they're heading down this way to my neck of the woods. Okay. If I would have handled the situation differently, then things would be different now, but we still have ongoing conflict. It hasn't been resolved because of the way that it's been handled. So I'm kind of like, if I would have had this book and been able to have these tools to take with me to the table when it happened, then this situation wouldn't be the way that it is. I really can't expect other people to, react any differently than they know how. And if people aren't willing to like read books like this and try to understand how they are wired and how other people are wired, and how to deal with, conflict resolution, then we just have a world that we do now where things don't get solved and this, kind of stuff can happen. So I definitely think during the golden age, it'd be awesome to have like conflict resolution type classes, even for like kids in school, to understand how to, understand people and deal with all of these types of situations in a healthy manner, instead of all of the nonsense that they learn now that's completely useless and ultimately lies, right? Like, how many lies did we learn over our lifetime? So let me check out the live chat really quick, and then again we'll get to the Chico potluck, which I haven't gotten to yet. David G says Reading Chess Club is way stronger than Chico. I agree. They are all the winners and runners up. Esoteric Knowledge says, what's your IQ? I'm not really sure. IQ tests are kind of not really measurement of how truly awake you are to the knowledge of our reality anyways. So you can have people with extremely high Qs that are, I almost said dumb as rocks, but actually rocks are part of all physical matter. So there's actually like intelligence in rocks. So I don't know what to say, that they are dumb as a bag of hammers, I guess. But still, yeah. So the IQ really isn't, having degrees isn't a measurement of your intelligence. Usually it's a measurement of how indoctrinated you are and how, the more pieces of paper that you are proud of, the harder it probably is going to be for you to wake up and accept the fact that those things are all lies and that you were deceived. You've invested so much. You were at the front of the classroom. You were the straight A student. You weren't the clown in the back making the jokes and cheating and failing their tests and all of this stuff. You pride yourself with being smart. It's going to be probably a little bit harder for you to go against all of that, and especially be ridiculed and mocked. As soon as you start telling the truth of your reality, people are going to say, you're stupid, you're crazy, you need to be in a loony bin, like all of these things. So it's definitely not for weak people. It's for the warriors to wake up. David D says cashew-based vegan cheeses are so good. I know. I actually met a girl down there who does cheese making classes. Mainly all of the vegan cheeses that I make are like cheese dips. But she makes like cheese wheels and blocks of cheese. So that's pretty cool. I might get involved and like go check out one of her classes just to support a fellow vegan. That's pretty cool. So esoteric knowledge says food is cool, but what about deception? What about it? Anything in specific that's kind of a broad. David D says you want ultimately Shasta to be warmer. They make her colder to force humans out. Definitely. Navy maps have bulk of California falling into ocean, including all of the coasts. Yes, I've actually posted that map on my community page and on Facebook before. If you guys have not seen it, I guess I can probably find a link for you really quick. Hopefully you're all doing well. It's a pretty nice day outside. And what's happening? My screen went black. I'm hoping to go home and do some development work for my home. I live in a tiny house right now, and I have greater plans for a castle. It's going to be really nice. So doo-doo-doo. Sorry about the delay. Yeah, so the reason that this map is kind of like important and something to note is that it was released by the Navy, which they need to know where the sea meets the land. Navy map. Let's see if that comes up. It's like brings up things that are completely unrelated. It doesn't make any sense. All right. Well, I guess I'll just have to repost it later to my community page because it's not coming up. So, anyways, most of California, like David was saying, is in the ocean, and there is like a coast that's very close to Mount Shasta. So it's kind of funny because, well, not funny, like a laughing joke, but the other day I was just telling my friend, like, if Mount Shasta had like a beach next to it and it was warm all the time, that would be awesome. David says, Christ being vegan flies in the face of his bread and fish miracles. Agree. Esoteric knowledge says religions are just control and brainwash. It's all scripted, pushing agendas. I agree. David D says all majors are staged. We live in a completely controlled reality with humans being controlled by Satan's inverts. Exactly. Yeah, so all of these stories on the news, they're all fake. They want you to be afraid of the boogeyman. So they create these, Jim Jones and the Mason cult, or Manson. I said Mason, but the Marilyn Manson is not their name. It's Manson cult. Is that their name or is that the singer? Isn't there two that have that? Oh, wait. Marilyn Manson and who am I thinking of? I don't know. Anyways, sometimes it's nice to not know all of these, popular names because so many people are obsessed with celebrities and the Hollywood nonsense, and they don't know anything about the truth of our reality. So, David says Patrick is the human, but his soul moves into the background and allows Patricia, the demon, to control them. Yes. More and more of the demon tries to say, oh, we should do this, or gives him the idea, like go and do this, and then Patrick does that, and it's like less of the thinking is being done by Patrick, and more of the demon is doing the thinking, or the demon is, or the thinking's happened by the demon. It still works either way, but so I was to wrap that back to what I was saying before, like people say these NPCs and like soulless beings. I don't believe any beings are soulless. Even the clones, the powers that we do use. Let's just talk about cloning for a second too, because a lot of people have this really sci-fi outlook, I guess, on cloning. I heard someone say like, oh, they were arrested and cloned and then replaced. It's like, if you want to take a clone of me, you need to like take some of my cells and then grow them as a baby, and then it would eventually you know, be getting older. Just like you can't just put me in a machine and then push a button and then you have two exact replicas that are the exact age and you can do whatever with. Like that's not how cloning works, and it seems like a lot of people think that it could work like that. So there's that. And also, I've said before that your soul and your DNA, your physical, are linked. So if I were to take a piece of my skin, a piece of my soul goes with that. Like, so you put that piece of skin in a dish, that's my soul that's in that dish. And now that's growing into a baby. That's me. So, identical twins are nature's clones. They're all these stories about how they can like sense when the other's in pain and feel the same things and stuff like that. And ultimately it's because they share the same soul. So that is why. And these clones that are used are having the same soul inside. That being said, some of the claims are definitely like I should probably say a lot of the claims, because people see two people that look remotely similar and they're like, oh my gosh, they're clones. It's like they could literally be brother, sister, cousin. Like they don't actually have to be clones to look alike. All of these entities are related. They are of the blood, this O negative blood, which I'm not demonizing O negative blood. No matter what your DNA or your blood is, you can choose to do good or bad. Don't use your DNA as an excuse to do evil, because it's not going to fly on Judgment Day. Your DNA does not determine or force you to do anything. Every time that you make a choice, you have a conscious decision to make that choice or to say no. So you really don't have anyone to blame but yourself. Even if there's a million demons sitting there trying to influence you to do it, ultimately you are the one who chooses to do or not do whatever the said thing is. So you're the only one that has the blame on them. Yes, these entities are of the blood and they try to keep their blood as pure, as non-human as possible. So there's inbreeding. They try to stay away from the goyim, the cattle, right? They see us real humans as goyim, as less than. They have special DNA that traces back to these these occurrences, these times when especially in Genesis 6, it's mentioned where the fallen angels, the jinn, come unto the daughters of men. They impregnate these human females, and the human females have babies. They have giants, and those are the men of renown, right? That are ultimately their descendants are ruling our world today, and they've tried to keep their blood pure away from us. So there's like this underlying bloodlines war going on between these two groups. And the group on Satan's side, if you've seen Westworld, before you go into Westworld, you either choose a black hat or you choose a white hat, depending on whether you're going to, the people that choose the black hat often go in and they rape and they kill and they steal, they do whatever they want. And the people that are the white hats, they go in and just kind of act like almost normal people, but maybe they do let their morals slide just a tad because they're in Westworld. But for the most part, they're supposed to be the heroes. It's the same kind of concept as entering into this world, and the real humans are the ones who have chosen to take the white hat. There's the current psyop where the powers that be are trying to say that they are both the white and the black hat, so they can squabble amongst each other, while real humans sit back and say, oh yeah, don't worry, Trump and the white hats are cleaning house and they're executing people. And it's like really frustrating to deal with, actually, because that's not what's happening, and they've tricked a lot of people into going along with this. It's a really, really powerful psyop that they have invested a lot of time and energy. They're still putting out these stupid little clues. Like, people are playing like a live action role-playing game with this. Like, they think that they're into all of these intelligent secrets and drops, and it's like, you want to pat them on the head like they're a little kid that's like getting like dragged along by some manipulative snake, and I don't know, just the kid just thinks that they're all that in a bag of Skittles because they're following these little clues. It's like, there, there, little Johnny, bless your little heart. Anyways, esoteric knowledge says soul is in the other place where they sell it, not in here. But I hear you. I'm not sure what you mean by the soul is in the place where they sell it. Like, you mean if I were to sell my soul right here, it would stay right here, like, and not ever leave Ellie's, or what? I don't know what you mean by that. But yeah, your soul and your body are linked. So, as long as you're in the physical realm, there are, cases where you can astral project and detach from the body. And in those cases, I would definitely suggest to looking into like protection, because when you're outside of the vehicle, other entities could come inside. So from my research regarding astral projection, it's always like, saying prayers and stuff to guard your body before you do that, so that it's protected while you are off. And yeah, we'll have to talk about that more in the future at a different time. David D says conflict resolution is key. I definitely agree. A lot of humans, the majority of humans are just damaged, and depending on how you observed relationships, like I grew up in a house where like my mom and dad are very loving. They still are very loving. They try to be, Christian and godly. And so when it comes to like crisis and conflict and stuff, like I've never seen my parents like yelling at each other or slamming doors or like any, like it was always a very calm, and having the marriage at the center, and it's like no matter what happens, they're gonna continue forward. And so that, is something that I'm bringing to the table. Those are the examples that I have from my childhood. But the next person that comes in maybe had a broken home with an abusive parent, and so they have a completely different mentality, way of interaction. Like maybe they're more explosive and they don't control anything they say. They just anything that pops into their mind, no matter how mean it is, they'll just go for it. So it's just like there's a lot of different aspects that come into these situations, and this book that I'm reading is like really interesting. I really, really wish that I had it like just a month or two ago to be able to have handled the situation differently. So yeah. Anyways, David D says cute earrings. Thank you. I just got them yesterday. I'll talk about. I actually went to a Cottonwood Christmas thing yesterday after the Chico thing, so we'll get to that in just a second. Kyle says, I just saw a bumper sticker that says go to space, not war. That's funny. If only it were possible. David D says, this physical world can be modified by will. Yes, exactly. We are the ones that manifest it. We've been, given this position of being center stage, and our species as humans have manifested this world that we're in. We can't blame demons for influencing us to do evil. We have to be able to stop doing it ourselves. And until we stop, the situation's not going to change. I've come across people that are like, oh, like we're not going to stop essentially until they stop. It's like, those that are farming us do it because we are doing evil. Like they convince us to do the evil so that they can come in and be the consequences for that evil, you see? So our actions have created this situation to begin with, and we have to do different actions to get out of it, which is really the underlying principle, is to go vegan, because as long as you farm, enslave, muzzle, force vaccinate, steal from, abuse, and then slaughter innocents, what do you think is going to happen to our own species? You really can't complain about having to work a job, a 9-to-5 job. You can't complain about paying taxes. You can't complain about being enslaved. You can't complain about your babies being eaten when you are doing those exact things to others. I mean, you can complain, but you're just a hypocrite. And personally, I'm not going to sit here and listen to it. It's just like you have literally dug this hole that you're in. So shut up and do something about it. Like all you have to do is go vegan. It's really that simple. And at this point, everything that you love as a non-vegan, you can have in a vegan version. A lot of us didn't go vegan because we want to be healthy. If you want to be healthy, you need to go fruitarian, like only eating raw fruit and herb bearing seed. I went vegan for the animals. It's the only moral diet. So for me, it's like I still like the taste of things that I liked before. I just refuse to be part of killing animals. Like it's evil. So that is basically where it is, and that kind of leads me into the Chico potluck, which was really awesome. There were like, I guess it leads me back to because I already started talking about it, but there were like 2, 4, like 5 full tables of people there. So it was actually a really, really awesome turnout. And one of the funny things is like there's a table of different flyers and pamphlets and stuff. And the one that drew me in, obviously, was Christianity and vegetarianism. And I guess I was excited to talk to whoever brought this because I wanted to talk about the gospel of the Holy 12. But when I was like, hey, who brought this? And the person kind of like spoke up, they were like, oh, I'm not religious. Like they didn't want anything to do with, like, they just brought it to try to get Christians to go vegan, which realistically, it doesn't, like, people will keep coming back to the quote, Jesus ate fish. Like Jesus ate and served fish. So how can you even preach veganism to these people? Because their leader literally consumed the flesh of innocents. So they're just doing sort of. They do a few things as their leader did, but they don't do the other things, right? Because the other things would involve actually doing God's will, which is a complex subject because obviously I think that the Gospel of Holy 12, there's actually some, let me post this.
You got our food?
This link here has some of the history. My computer is really slow, so it's taking forever. This goes over a little bit of the history of the Gospel of the Holy 12 and how it was like hidden by these monks, and how the original teaching, the original New Testament, come on, my delete button's not working anymore. It's very frustrating. Yeah, and it goes into a little bit of the stuff about how things were changed in order to formulate the religion that we have now. There's a lot of, I just found one the other day where part of the Christ quote is in the Bible and the rest of it is left out. I'm trying to pull up the quote so that I can actually show you. Okay, so the Bible part quotes, "For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together." And it's kind of interesting because if you look at the interlinear Bible for the actual word where it says eagles, the original says vultures. So right there in your King James Bible, they have what should be saying vultures has been changed to eagles. So anyone that wants to say that the King James Bible is like, it's on point, everything is perfect, they haven't done enough research. So that was the end of the quote from the Bible, but the quote from the Essene text says, "For remember, wheresoever the carcass is, there will the vultures be gathered together. For these birds eat of the dead, and do gather round for the feast, and know not the living. Know ye also therefore that the true disciples of Christ are found among the living only, and are not found gathered round dead ones." This whole concept of like having a turkey's body on your table and your whole family is like gathered around it. Like, first of all, who are you giving thanks to for this? Because God hates hands that shed innocent blood. So you going out and killing turkey, ham, like meant to say pig, but the person over here is saying that they had turkey and ham, so that's kind of why it popped out like that. But killing turkey, pig, chicken, every animal under the sun that you can get your hands on to make a feast, and then sitting around and praying to God, like, what do you think that's gonna do? Like, people don't realize how evil their actions are, and how, you know, they're actually perceived by these other entities. You know, not only do the animals think that you're evil, but do you really think that God thinks that what you're doing is good? That's nothing to give thanks for. He certainly did not put those turkeys on the earth for you to kill and eat. So why are you giving him thanks for this? Doesn't make sense. So anyways, yeah, it didn't really seem like there were many spiritually focused vegans. Most seemed to be more, focused on the animals, which obviously veganism is all about the animals. But the reason that I even was introduced to veganism was because of the spiritual thing, the spiritual aspect. So that was a little bit disappointing that the person who had brought the pamphlet didn't actually, want to have a discussion about how Jesus was vegan. But it was a nice experience anyways. I, exchanged numbers with the guy who planned it and another girl who, the one who does the cheese classes. She actually took me and the friends that I went down with to a local park, and we went on a little walk. And then on our way back home, we stopped at this little town called Cottonwood. It was really cute, like old building, like Western type, old school saloon type buildings. They had the whole main street was shut down, and they had some vendors, and then they had this cute little kiddie parade with kids, not cats. My friend actually thought that they were going to be cats when I said that. Like, no, kitty as in like children, not like people with their cats on a leash, like making a parade, which kind of would be funny to see. But yeah, it was kind of cute to see these little kids walking in the parade. One was like dressed up as a Christmas present, like he had like a box around his chest, and he was pulling this Christmas tree. It was super cute. But it was actually really a small, like one of the smallest Christmas festival type things that I've been to. There's a lot of those, cute small town traditions around here. So it's fun to go, and I do like the season and the lights, and like, I'm not against Christmas. Like, a lot of the truthers go hardcore against like holidays and stuff. At one point I did go that way, but that was because I was in mainstream Christianity, and the Bible says don't be like the heathens who go and cut down the tree and bring it in and deck the halls and stuff. It's like, basically, if you want to claim that you follow the Bible, it literally says not to do what you're doing. So like, you can't claim to follow the Bible if you're not doing what it says to do. So yeah, after I left the Bible behind, and I kind of have come along to understanding the origins of these holidays and how the cycles of Earth can be celebrated in these really beautiful ways. And so I'm totally on board with that. And I want to have my own holiday traditions with my future children. Instead of, I do really love the idea of going to get a Christmas tree, like from on Mount Shasta. When I was a kid, my dad and mom would take us out, and we would go pick a Christmas tree and cut it down. We'd all yell timber, like, but I don't want to go and kill more trees. So I want to kind of maybe think of a way that I can go and buy a tree, and then like every year you buy a new tree and then you plant it, so that you're, creating more life as you go. So that'll probably be one of the traditions that I implement. But I definitely love even the concept of the fact that Christmas was this fertility festival, and the children that result from this fertility festival are Virgos. So I'm definitely all about encouraging, Christmas love in committed relationships, of course. But during the golden age, not right now. I would definitely encourage everybody to run the opposite direction of having children when we're in the middle of a war. The powers that be have a lot worse stuff planned for us, and having a child during famine, during like the the New World Order takeover type stuff. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Like, yeah, it's gonna be rough to try to get through. So I definitely do not encourage people to bring children into this reality. But during the golden age, we're gonna see an explosion in population because, um, you know, people have what they need. They don't have to work. They have space to exist, and they're happy and they can live life. So we're gonna have a lot more babies, and that's really exciting. We just need to make sure that we create an environment that is good for them, that promotes, their individuality. The schooling system is this cookie cutter education where everyone learns the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're an artist or, a mathematician, you're going to be learning the same things. And it really discourages learning. So a lot of things need to change before we can call it a golden age. But hopefully you know that your soul came here for that reason, and hopefully you're fighting alongside of me for that, no matter how much darkness, no matter how depressing or hopeless it gets, no matter how little support you feel like you have, how little friends you feel like you have, if your family doesn't support you. Like, what matters is doing what our souls came here to do, even if others don't understand or support or stick beside us. And just know that if you're out there and you're fighting for the golden age, you're not alone, because I'm here fighting. So you at least have me, and I'm appreciative. I pronounce it appreciative for those who are fighting alongside of me, even if you don't vocalize it. Vegans, you are making the world a better place, even if you're not like thinking that you're here to manifest the golden age. We already are. And that's just a world where animals and humans can be free, and we all have what we need. And yeah, this world doesn't have to be this nightmarish hell. We could implement technology to make everything easier for us so that we don't have to do these tedious 9 to 5 tasks. We can go and make art, we can make music, we can make children, like we can have fun and do what our souls came here to do. So hopefully you are with me on that. I'm actually going to jump off of here because I'm pumping myself up, and I got work to do at home to develop and actually manifest the golden age. It's not something that you can just snap your fingers and it happens. You got to be willing to go and do the actual work. So I'm going to leave you with that. I encourage you, find out what your soul came here for and press on towards that, no matter what adversity comes your way, no matter what trials and tribulations pop up. And you'll get there. I hope that you have a wonderful week. May God and the Goddess bless you.